Welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV, the live TV show all about the legal aspects of your business to help educate you on complex legal terms in an easy to understand manner, to help understand why you need to do certain things in your business from a legal point of view, and to help you develop a plan for the future. Our mission at Business Legal Lifecycle is to help empower all small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? That is the average time it takes from a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. Have you ever wanted to get legal advice but didn't understand what was going on? Do you feel like there is a divide between lawyers and their clients? Then this TV show is for you. It is all about empowering you and your business with the knowledge and tools to ensure that this doesn't happen to you. Business Legal Lifecycle TV delivers a twice-weekly show focusing on the legal aspects of your business. At lunchtime on Mondays, we present Fast Fix Monday, a quick 5 to 10 minute show that will give you some actionable steps to consider for the week for your business. And at lunchtime on Wednesdays, we present our in-depth show of between 30 minutes and an hour, where we go through complicated legal aspects of your business in a simple to understand, plain English manner. And whether that is through educational pieces or interviews with experts in their fields.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Business Legal Lifecycle TV. This is Fast Fix Monday, and we're doing our last show on Phase 8 and 12, estate planning and retirement. 3 tips if you continue to work for the buyer. Craig, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
So my name's Jeremy Stratton, and along with Craig, we're the founders of the Business Legal Lifecycle. And so today, as I said, there's 3 tips if you continue to work for the buyer. We're going to do this with in a little bit of a different format because there's 2 different ways that you might work for the buyer. The first one, you might just be helping them out. You've sold a business and you want to actually help them out and make sure that they're going to operate the business properly. And the second one's if you're actually on an earn-out. So you can sell a business in circumstances where you're paid a price for the business, and then that there might be an extra amount that's paid to you if the business earns a certain amount, and often you'll have to continue to work in the business. So we're going to talk about each of these 3 in those contexts. So Craig, do you want to kick off with the first one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one we wanted to talk about was know that you are not the owner and you need to respect the buyer. So if you're in a helping out situation, obviously the buyer stepped in and now they're running the business. So if you go in there when you're supposed to be helping and you aren't showing respect for the buyer, if they want to change something, etc., you could be affecting their business and you're not really helping, you're actually hindering. So make sure that when you're helping the buyer, that you're respecting them. If they've made some decisions, you can say things or give them advantages and disadvantages, but you're really there just to help and let them run the business the way they want it to be run. In a situation where you're on an earn-out, again, you're not the owner and you need to respect the buyer. There are going to be some decisions when you're on an earn-out. The seller is losing some form of control over the business, which might help some people to give up. However, and you want it to earn out in terms of getting the most money for whatever percentage is left over in terms of the earn-out, if that's the way it's structured. You just got to balance that with the fact that it is going to be the buyer's business and you need to respect some of the decisions they make. In that instance, you're probably more likely to be involved in decisions if it was a larger scale type decision. But again, if you've got that respect there, then I think it's a good tip in any type of business, particularly when you're talking about an earn-out, respect the buyer and work with them in terms of running the business. So that was the first one, Jeremy. Do you want to do the second?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Craig. So the second one is your attitude. So when you're no longer the owner of the business, it's not just respect, as Craig said in the first one, but you have to be very careful with your attitude. So if you're just helping out, you need to be able to help the buyer, but then don't try and control the place. Do not try and control what's going on. You may have employees. I've seen this happen many, many times where a seller is there helping out a buyer and they might know the employees and they might want to help out those employees. It's not your job anymore. The attitude that you've got to go into this with is that you're just helping them out. And if they don't want to take your advice, much like what Craig said with respect, your attitude has to be, well, let them make those mistakes. They can only learn from them. The second scenario is if you're on an earn-out, you have to be really careful of your attitude in this circumstance. when you're on an earnout, as Craig said, often you'll be waiting to earn a sum of money base and be paid a certain sum of money on the business performing certain goals. And if you're on an earnout and you have a poor attitude, then that can really cause problems for the business and the person that you sold the business to. So you've got to be really careful with your attitude. You need to know that you've gone in there with eyes wide open, that you're going to be there on an earnout and you're not the owner of the business, and you have to have the right attitude for that business owner. So attitude is really important. You need to make sure that you're ready to do that. One of the big things with this is making sure that you're ready to actually take that role and understand what your role is. Because if you don't, you won't have the right attitude. So that's the first two. Craig, do you want to do the third and final one?
Yeah, so the third one is be a counsellor to the buyer. So pretty similar to the respect and the attitude. It's really the mindset that you go in as the seller in this instance. So it's for both where you're helping out, that's obvious, to help, you're teaching them, you're counselling them on certain things. So that's pretty self-explanatory from that sense, and you don't want to hinder what they're trying to do. You're just helping them out, giving them some guidance, etc., etc. In terms of an earnout, one of the main advantages of an earnout is that the seller can obviously maximise the value, and both parties hopefully are happy at the end of it because there's a figure that's agreed upon. The seller's there trying to maximise the value. At the same time, they're also trying to maximise the information that they're providing to the buyer. So that's where the counsellor role comes in. So you're giving them that information so they can use it. One of the disadvantages sometimes of an earnout is that the seller's in there and they're looking very short term, and they don't want to short term goals because that's affecting the value that they want to get out of it. Whereas a buyer might be looking more long term as to some strategies or some tactics that they're going to change. So it's important in that instance that again you take on the counsellor role. You're giving the advantages, disadvantages. You're a bit more of a mentor in the earnout situation. Hopefully, if you do it like that, you can still maximise the value whilst also giving the buyer an opportunity to expand or whatever it might be in the long term. So they're the three tips that we wanted to talk about today in terms of you continue to work for the buyer. Jeremy, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, only that if you are going to continue to work for the buyer, whether it be in either scenario, whether you're just helping them out or you're doing an earnout, make sure you get some good advice and set some ground rules with the buyer. Ground rules are really important, and making sure you understand what your role is and that they do. So that's it for today for Business Legal Lifecycle TV and our podcast. As always, please please remember to like this video on Facebook, like our page if you haven't liked it before. The show notes will be at businesslegallifecycle.com.au/114 for show 114. And we'll be back on Wednesday with our first show of our second year, Craig. It's exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely. We look forward to you all joining us then.
See you then.
Bye.